Hey, this is 10-2 in our book. I skipped this lesson when we were going through topic 10 because it's kind of working backwards. We do everything in math working forward and working backwards. And you already know factor, that word. It's two quantities that when multiplied produce a given expression. So the factor pairs of 28, we could say are 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7. You did that a long time ago. What we're going to be doing now is factoring expressions. This is something that's introduced in the 7th grade. I usually skip it with Math 7, and then it's spent much more time on in Math 8 and Algebra 1. So you will see it again. When we are factoring, we're going to change it back to a multiplication problem of a constant times something in here. And when we want to pull out this number right here, we want this to be the greatest common factor, the biggest number and variables that will go into them both. So I'm looking for the biggest number that will divide into both of these and any common letters that they have. Again, the biggest common number and any common letters that they have. So what I'm going to find here is that the biggest number that goes in to 20 and 10 is 10. I wouldn't pick the 2 or the 5 because they're not the biggest. And then I'd want to look for any letters they have in common. There's no letters, so that's it. It's just a 10. I probably could have put it a little closer to the parenthesis. And now I just do a little problem in my head. What would I multiply 10 by to get back to here? Well, I'd need to multiply it by 2x. 10 times 2x is 20x. What would I need to multiply 10 by to get back to minus 10? Well, I'd need to multiply it by a -1. I can also think of it as dividing. So 20x divided by 10 and minus 10 divided by 10. This is often forgotten. Kids think it cancels out. No, it's division. There's no canceling out there and getting a 0. It would be getting a 1. So this is my answer right here. You could check it. I know that 10 in that problem is a little far from the parenthesis. So you could distribute that and make sure that it works out. That would be 10 times 2x, which is 20x, and 10 times 1, which would be a minus 20. That minus sign or that negative sign gets brought down. So it checks out. We know we have it right. So here I'm going to look for the greatest common number. The greatest common number is a 6. And the greatest letter or any common letters is a 6. So what would I need to multiply 6x by to get back to 6x? Or I can think of it as a division problem. 6x divided by 6x is 1. This times this would get me back there. I'm going to bring down that minus sign. What would I need to multiply 6x by to get 6xy? 6x times what would get me 12xy? Well, let's see. I would need a 2, and I already have an x, but I would need to give it a y. There's my answer. Last one that I'm going to check. This is my answer. Let's check it and see if it works. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 2 is 12. X times y is xy. It checks out. Okay, let's start doing them a little faster. What is the common number? What will divide into 4 and 3? 1. Any common letters? This one has an X and an X. This one has just one X. So they have in common 1x. This is x times x. That's what x squared is. So there's that. That's my greatest common factor. Multiplying items that they have in common. Okay? I'll show you another way to get this in just a second too. So what would I need to do to get back here? Well, 1 times 4 and x times another x. And what would I need to do back here? 1x? Well, 1 times 3, and I don't need any more x's. I'm going to cheat. I said I was done checking them, but I'm going to keep on checking them. 1x times 4x is 4x squared. 1x times 3 is 3x. That's my check. It checks out. Okay. Another way of doing this, if it helps you, this is what I sometimes do when we used to teach this to some of the seventh graders. You can write this out in factored form, and anything they have in common goes out front. And so x goes out front. What's left over on the inside is a 4x and 3. You need to take these all the way down to primes. I don't know. This way's a lot faster, and it's how you're going to do it in upper math. Okay, let me give this one 3 terms. Maybe it's a 10x m squared, a 2x, and we'll do a 4y. Why not? Sometimes they have more than 2 terms. So what is common to all of those? Well, the only letter they have in common, the only number they have in common is a factor of 2. That's their greatest common factor. Do they have any letters in common? No. These both have X's, but this one doesn't. Nothing has a M, nothing has only one of them has a Y. So the only thing I can take out is a 2. I'm now going to divide all of these by 2 or think backwards. 2 times 5 is 10, and I need the X and the M squared. 2 times 1, and I need the X, and 2 times 2 is 4, and I need the Y. That's it, done. You can go ahead and check it yourself by rainbowing it out to see if it checks out.